What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today is a two-parter where number one, it is a tale of warning. Don't always follow the leaderboards because chances are that leaderboard might not actually be for the boss that you're on. And number two, an insane combo with the artifact that we unlocked here today, the resonating spell. So first off, let's talk about this combo and why it is so crazy good. Resonating spell. It has attack, it has haste, it has HP. Really awesome. When the battle starts, designate the rearmost ally as the resonator. Whenever any of other allies cast an ultimate, the resonator will recover 60 energy. The resonator can only get up to 1500 additional energy. So that's like 1.5 ultimates essentially, but on certain heroes this ends up being really powerful. When the resonator casts their ultimate, they enter a blessed state for 6 seconds, gaining immunity so they can't be controlled or anything, and a 35% increase in their attack. That is absolutely amazing. So if you can have someone that can chain this together, that's really strong. When the ally other than the resonator casts the ultimate, it goes up, and then further on is going to get even stronger. And the main reason why this is so good is because on this boss there is one hero that I absolutely love, Alsa, that becomes insanely good. Now, why is that? Because she can cast her ultimate over and over again for very inexpensive. Only 500 energy to continuously cast her ultimate, which means she stays in that immunity state and constantly has that attack buff, which is the really cool combo that I want to show off here today. Now, number two, we do have the new Crystal Beetle out, and I want to again tell a kind of tale of warning here. Don't always go by what is at the top of the list here. Just because something's at the top of the list here doesn't mean it's good, because I'm going to show you guys, we're about to beat common number 2 boss 2. Technically, the strategy for common 2 boss wasn't even working properly for me to fully finish out the common 1 boss. So we had to switch things up. I had to throw like Odie into the lineup my first time. You see right here. Oh, actually, it probably got overwritten. I basically had to take Ludovic out and I put Odie in, and that got me the kill. And then once I got to here with this artifact combo is when it really popped off. And you see here, a lot of people are using different strategies. We're going to compare what is previously was one of my strongest ones to what the leaderboard says. Because remember, all of the ones that I did earlier today that had this Alsa combo with this resonating spell, that was the best of the best, but that was for common 2. And every time we go up to a higher difficulty, you're going to see the teams changing. So the common 1 boss, the common 2 boss, the next difficulty up, endless, they're all going to have different best team compositions. So just going to the top of the leaderboard, copying and pasting is not going to get you the best progression or the best rankings on any day until we get to endless mode. So please just remember that. Don't just follow the in-game top people's boards, because they also have very unique situations where they have extremely strong heroes. They have Paragon heroes. None of my damage dealers are actually Paragon or anything. They're all Supreme Plus essentially. But you see right here, even today, we're going to most likely get this cleared out, and you can see it's because Alsa is just chaining these ultimates over and over and over again, and she just goes absolutely crazy. It's nice to see an older hero actually still be relevant here. So it still gets us in the top 4 right here. You see Alsa going absolutely nuts. And now I want to compare this team to what the new best team is, because again, now what we see here is we see Freyesto and we see Lily May coming into the mix. And that's now because we're in the hard difficulty. Each one of these bosses, the way that they work is their physical, magic, and like true damage, defense, and everything. They all get changed as the bosses go further and further up. I love these formations here. These formations just perfect. So let's see what our Alsa team would do with that current setup, because the Alsa team was the best setup for that previous Crystal Beetle boss difficulty. Holy cow, and you can see why, because just because it worked in the previous one does not mean it's going to work in the next difficulty up, because the amount of damage that the boss can put out is absolutely insane. We literally got our entire team one-tapped essentially, and that's why having other heroes in this mix and using a different artifact is kind of interesting. And you can see they're not even doing that much damage, like 303 million. That's not a ton. So this looks like it's very much going for the damage reduction route, where we're getting damage reduction on the Lily May from the Fresto. We're getting the damage reduction from the Thorin, and we're going double in on the damage reduction. We don't really care about healing. What we're doing is the ultimate from Coco is giving damage reduction, and then we're getting the shield after the ultimate falls off here. On top of that, Haywin is going to be getting the extra energy from Fresto here, and she's basically doing that because if you do have her at Mythic Plus as well, that's another 30% damage reduction or higher, up to what, 36%. So keep that in mind. We're going to a very tanky game mode instead, and we're going with the Verdant spell, which gives physical and magic defense and HP, all the things we need to survive. And I'm intrigued to see if that even happens. One thing to remember is shielders are very, very important to have in this game mode, because remember when the Crystal Beetle was a world boss, every time they get knocked up in the air, you're losing time that you could be dealing damage. Whereas when you have a shield, that does not happen. And you can even see here with my account, we might not even be able to use this team and make it work because we got 0.5%, which is not much better. And it's mainly just because of the sheer amount of damage that is incoming. I would almost wonder if we'd be better off doing something like this and getting Coco to an extremely fast ultimate, or maybe Haywin. Let's see if we can get Haywin to a very fast ultimate somehow. If she can just get energy a little faster, she can get her ultimate off now, which gives us the damage reduction, and we get Coco. So both of them are up this time just by changing our artifact out, and now we actually have heroes that are surviving. And on top of that, because we're using this resonating spell, Haywin is able to chain her ultimate more often, which it means much more uptime on her damage reduction. Because remember, her damage reduction only happens while she's casting that big AoE. And you can already see this is ending up being a much better team, where we essentially don't care about offense. We just need to chain together as many ultimates as possible between Coco and Haywin to keep this team going. No amount of healing is going to keep your team alive. You need damage reduction, and more importantly from Coco, you need all those shields so we're not getting interrupted. And it seems like this might be the better setup for me personally. And again, it's kind of just because of the way that this new resonating spell works, and we just got that today if you do complete the story. Most people, even free to play, shouldn't have a problem getting through the story. So I just want to show you guys how one team might look amazing for a certain difficulty, but then it doesn't perform as well. Like, honestly, this team right here might not even be able to kill the previous version of the Crystal Beetle, the previous difficulty. And just like that, we move up a spot, we get to 2.8% instead of 0.5%. It's not a huge difference. But again, just following these formations can really cause a lot of issues with your progression if you're not understanding what's going on, because it doesn't tell you what difficulty the boss is. The only way you can tell is by this little icon up here. So following all these, you can see everybody is using the Alsa teams. And then when you get up to the next higher strategy, I love these. Those are so cool. You get these other ones that work pretty well. You can have different artifact combinations. It really just depends. If you really need to, make sure you guys are just focusing on which difficulty you're on. I don't know if there's any for number one. Oh, there are some for number one, so you can see the difference. See, all these teams had more damage dealers in the mix. It wasn't just the Alsa, because if you just run the Alsa team, you might have troubles beating them. So again, please pay attention to what you're looking at. Don't just look at the top team, copy the top team, and go, because chances are you're not going to get the progression you want. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Crystal Beetle is here. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.